What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome to the Optimist Fantasy Football Channel. I, of course, am Nate Polvogt, and next to me is the one and only Mr. Lou Brunson in place of Mr. Keith Fleming, who happens to be at a Ben Folds 5 concert tonight. Lou, I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of jealous. I dig Ben Folds quite a bit.
Are you?
Yeah, I like him, man.
I never got into him. He was fine. It was fine, but whatever, not my thing.
Okay, so the weird reason I really like him a lot, do you remember that a cappella competition show? It was like American Idol, but for a cappella groups. He was a judge on it.
Oh,
and I just thought he was, he's a nice guy. And I was like, I'm impressed by him. So I started listening to his music more. Now, I don't know. But we're not here to talk about Ben Folds, guys. We're here to talk about your fantasy football teams in week 4 of NFL football. Right off of the bat, Lou, we got some news this afternoon. Terry McLaurin and Jaden Daniels for the Washington Commanders will not be playing on Sunday. Sucks for me. I'm very heavily invested in both of them this season. Got a whole lecture from Jen in the car about that. She's like, you got to diversify, honey. I know, but I believed in him. Washington is traveling to Atlanta with these other assets in this offense now, knowing we've got no McLaurin, knowing that we've got no Jaden Daniels, obviously Marcus Mariota. But does this elevate guys like Bill Krosky-Merritt, Zach Ertz, Dyami Brown? Are these guys you think maybe are going to see more volume and you're interested in plugging in maybe a little bit more in your lineups this week?
Well, first of all, Dyami Brown is in Jacksonville now. So
that's correct. So no.
So no, not so much him. And I think he's actually ailing in Jacksonville right now as well, injury-wise. Yes. So doubly no.
You're correct.
But Noah Brown is also out as well. So like they're down like their top 2 like downfield wide receivers as well. I'm really interested in Debo this week. I think he's going to see a lot of work to help keep the chains moving. I know Bill Krosky-Merritt's been kind of in and out of practice this week, just kind of willy-wonky. And on top of that, like last week, between him, Jeremy McNichols, and then Chris Rodriguez, each running back like almost got exactly a third of the snaps because, we've got another one of those situations. And there's that's happy because it's proving my prior right about just stay away from the Washington backfield. You don't want any part of it, and that's just kind of where I'm landing with it still.
Yeah, do you have any interest in Chris Rodriguez whatsoever this weekend?
I mean, interest is relative. Like if I just lost James Conner and Tyrone Tracy and Najee Harris in my running back depth, yeah, I'm kind of interested in a sick kind of way, but like, do I want to have to start them? No,
of course not.
The buys are coming. Like they're coming next week. So I don't think enough people are cognizant of that. So it might be worth stashing them,
Hey, we're trying to help people be aware. Our whole promo code is BIPOcalypse because it's coming, guys. If you want to be ready for it, check out tools at optimistfantasy.com. tools.optimistfantasy.com, 35% off 3 months. And if you sign up for Gold Jacket, you get locked into every single tool we premiere the rest of the 2025 season. So shameless plug, go check that out. But yeah, with these bye weeks coming, guys like Chris Rodriguez do kind of become important. Players that maybe you're a little bit disappointed in, like Rachaad White, don't drop them because you might need them through some of these bye weeks. Are there some guys you're seeing on waivers right now, maybe that you think people should be plucking up ahead of waivers?
Yeah, there's kind of 2. One actually played last night, and then Amari DiMercato, because, the Arizona Cardinals are a mess. Their offense is a mess. I don't believe in their coaching, and that's kind of why I like DiMercato as a pickup, because they're going to play him more than they should. Trey Benson was their third down running back 2 weeks ago, and yet he's not good enough to be their third down running back now. That makes absolutely zero sense to me in any world, but that's how they're running things. So DiMercato kind of slides into that Justice Hill type tier where he's going to see some work and probably going to get some, especially PPR, half PPR points along the way. And kind of along that same vein as Devin Singletary there in New York with Tyrone Tracy going down. Cam Scatabo, he's going to get the lion's share of the work, and I have no doubt about that. And Devin Singletary is going to see something. Do I think he's going to take work away from Scatabo? No. but he's going to be there to help give him a blow when he needs it, pick up some odd carries, odd drive here, 1 out of every 3 drives sort of deal.
What about a guy like Rico Dowdle? I mean, not that he's going to see a ton of work, but also I feel like there's some value there because, I mean, he's 1 slot behind Chuba Hubbard. And Chuba's consistent, but it feels like there's going to be more work for Dowdle in that offense as we move forward. He's only 20% rostered in Sleeper, Lou.
Yeah, no, I really like that call, Nate. Dowdle was someone in the entering the season that I thought they were going to use more as their designated passing or third down 2-minute running back to try and save Hubbard a bit, who definitely wore down towards the end of last season because he obviously is kind of the heartbeat of that offense. It really makes it go, especially as Toria McMillan gets his feet under him and that sort of thing at the NFL level. So, I like that Dowdle stash there.
Yeah, I think Dowdle's a smart one. As far as wide receivers go, guys like Tyquan Thornton, I mean, we've seen him kind of boom the last couple of weeks. Is he someone you trust moving forward, at least through maybe a handful of bye weeks until we get Rashee Rice back? Or does Xavier Worthy being active and likely playing a full workload this week affect how you feel about him and about Hollywood Brown as well?
I mean, I can't say that I cared about Hollywood Brown before Worthy and Rice came back. So as they're starting to make their way back over these next couple of weeks, obviously Worthy this week, Rice in a couple of weeks down the line, I can't care about Hollywood Brown any less. I don't mind keeping Thornton as a stash and kind of see what happens. There's simply not a lot of great options in that offense, and he has shown the best rapport with Mahomes downfield. Maybe that ends up transitioning to Worthy and Rice down the road, but we're not going to know that until we see it. So I don't have a problem kind of keeping him at the back end of my roster until I see that. Now, I don't have a problem dropping him and letting him loose to churn that bottom if someone else does come up.
Well, I wrote about it today in our higher lower article on optimistfantasy.com. Go check that out if you haven't yet. I think with Worthy, people have this expectation he's going to step in and he's going to be some kind of savior to this offense here. Well, first of all, he missed the better part of 3 games with a dislocated shoulder. Like, that's not a nothing injury. That's a very painful injury. I'm sure that he's mostly healed. He's 22. He's young. He's going to recover quickly. But that said, he's a downfield threat, sometimes across the middle threat. He was so inconsistent last season. I think it was 5 games with more than 8 targets, and he only had 2 games with double-digit targets. And if he wasn't seeing that, he wasn't scoring fantasy points. And he really needed a touchdown most of the time. And I don't understand where people think that's changed in Kansas City and why people are getting so excited to fire him up this week. Is it still that thirst for the Tyreek Hill type, and the speed guy's got to be it, and so we're waiting for that element of this offense again?
I think it's got to be, right, because we've seen Andy Reid, when he latches onto a playmaker, he doesn't let them go. He feeds them and feeds them and feeds them. And I mean, Worthy coming into the NFL out of Texas there, he was very well and highly thought of by a lot of really smart people. And the problem is, I just don't think that Kansas City lives in that world where they want to hyper target someone anymore. They just want to, like the Bills and the Packers, how they run their offense, they just want to throw to the open guy. Doesn't really matter who it is or where it is. They just want to matriculate the ball down the field and win close games, which granted they have not been doing this year,
right,
which is its own thing as they face Baltimore this weekend, both of which are in, kind of some not trouble, like miss the playoffs trouble, but one of them at least is not going to be thinking about the number 1 overall seed in the AFC after this weekend.
Well, my guess is it's Kansas City. I think that whatever the struggles are in Baltimore, they've also had some tough games. This Kansas City team just doesn't really feel complete. I want to pop up this question from the chat, Lou. This is Nino Pena on YouTube. Since we're talking Chiefs, this question makes sense, and we'll get to everybody else's here in a second. Are we at the point where we're looking to drop Isaiah Pacheco for Kareem Hunt? Isaiah Pacheco's been nothing.
So's Kareem Hunt.
Yeah,
like Kareem
that's
Hunt.
True.
I mean, the thing is, Kareem Hunt has been bad. He's just gotten a touchdown. That's really the big difference. Isaiah Pacheco, I mean, neither of them are getting any work. Even if the roles flip somehow where Hunt is getting more volume than Pacheco, it's not like it matters because Hunt can only get 3 yards with it. Pacheco's getting some yards. He's just not getting the volume of touches. If you want to drop Pacheco for someone, I really don't have a problem with that at this point. But for Hunt, doesn't really make sense to me because you're trading in for an equal asset in the same bad rushing offense.
Yeah, I'd rather go after a guy like Rico Dowdle. Honestly, I think there's more upside there. Not necessarily Devin Singletary unless you've got Cam Scatterbo, but we got another one here from Nino. Lou, in redraft 12-man team, my 12 team league, my wide receiver core is very sketchy moving forward. He's got Malik Neighbors, Jacoby Myers, Elick Aomanor, and Stephon Diggs. Would you send McBride out for like Rashee Rice, Drake London, or any of other recommendations? I would not move McBride for another wide receiver. I understand what you're saying about this core being sketchy, but I wouldn't want to move McBride because there's still so much receiving upside from a guy like McBride.
I think it depends on who you have at tight end behind him. Like if you if you took McBride early and then lucked into like a Tucker Kraft way too late, something like that, I kind of don't have a problem with something like that. I don't know that I would go for that exact trade. Like I would want Rice and a guy like London, an underperforming guy like London, to move off of McBride because he is just an every week roster advantage for you at the tight end position. Mm-hmm. So I don't mind entertaining the idea, but it would have to be, number one, my roster would already have to be good enough to be able to move off of him, not lose much, and it would need to be a lot coming back.
Yeah, I would need a lot more. McBride's just such an elite asset, and as much as we don't like this Arizona offense, we kind of talked about it a little bit. Mm-hmm. Trey McBride is the one part of this offense that's actually working, and it was a little scary early because it didn't feel like he was working, but he's been much better, and we're seeing McBride get more involved. Kyler Murray's remembering, oh, wait, there is one guy who doesn't drop passes and try and catch it with his body. It's Trey McBride. Woo!
Right?
Right? All right, let's get to this question from Tron Force, Lou. Would you trade Christian McCaffrey, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Troy Franklin for James Cook, A.J. Brown, and Rashee Rice? PPR, I could also ask for Drake London instead of A.J. Brown if needed. What are you doing in this situation, Lou?
If I'm getting that Cook package, I'm taking that in a heartbeat and laughing my way to the bank while doing it. I know that I spent a lot of time talking down on the Chiefs offense, and I do mean that. And I think that Rashee Rice comes back and hits the ground absolutely running. Maybe he's not at his 16 to 18 point per game pace that he was before he got hurt last year, but I absolutely think he's at the very least a low end wide receiver 2+.
Yep.
And going from those assets, that Wan'Dale and Franklin, to that AJ Brown, who we got a reminder of who he is last week. And I think the Eagles really need to lean into that to open up their offense going forward. I think they realized remembered who he was last week. Mm-hmm. And going from CMC to Cook, I don't think is that big of a step down. Yeah, Cook's not going to be quite as consistent, but that Buffalo offense is disgustingly good, and they love to lean on the run when they have a lead. They run the ball 66% of the time when they have the lead this year. This is how they want to win and finish out the games, is through Cook. So if you can get that deal, I love it for you every little bit.
Yep, I would absolutely 100% do this, Tron. We've got Gerald Alvarado wants to know our thoughts on Trevion Henderson this weekend. Lou, I'll start with this one. I don't trust a rookie running back in the Josh McDaniels offense because they're just never going to give them volume unless he does something above and beyond to prove that he's the guy. I actually talked about this last night with Bob Harris and Mike Dempsey on SiriusXM. And that's the thing about this offense. Ramondre Stevenson he's going to have to make some incredibly egregious mistakes. We've already seen some bad ones, and they're still giving him all the volume. It's going to take an act of God himself to get Trevion Henderson to a point where we're like, yes, this is what I wanted. Next year, absolutely. But for me, he's a guy that I maybe a back end flex most of the rest of the season for me.
No, I think that's fair. I've got him as a low end RB2 this week. A lot of it has to do with I really don't like a lot of the matchups of those kind of like middling running backs. So it's like, you know what? I'll put him there. He's my RB24. I don't feel great about it. And just to kind of add into that point about Josh McDaniels, people love to hold up, Derrick Henry had to share time with Dion Lewis back in the day and that sort of thing. Like, how could you do that? Mike Vrabel was the coach for that. He has no problem setting aside a guy that's more talented for a veteran that he decides deserves this shot and deserves this run for longer than anyone thinks that he should actually have it. So this is not exactly uncharted territory.
Yeah, it's not uncharted territory at all. I fully expected this. I think a lot of Trevion Henderson. He's a phenomenal back. And when he starts getting that volume and he earns that trust from Josh McDaniels, to the moon with him, man. I just wanted to throw this one out here from the boys at FF Hustle. Let's effing go, Nate. It's great to see you guys. I'm pretty sure that one of you is going to destroy me in our auction league this week. So cheers to that. Woo! Gerald Alvarado's got another one. He wants to know Justin Fields or Geno Smith this weekend. Who are you going with, Lou?
I kind of need to know if Fields is going to play or not because of the concussion, because that might answer the question for you.
It sounds like he's going to play.
I just don't trust concussions until I get the official word. Is all. It's I kind of lean Geno. I don't think a ton of either of them, but I lean Geno just because we know that Chicago defense is duty water. It's so bad. And as much as I don't think a ton of the Raiders pass catchers right now, I think they've got enough.
They do. Yeah. And Geno Smith can make something out of nothing. He did it in Seattle a little bit. I mean, he had DK, but he made an aging Tyler Lockett look good. Think about that. Yeah, because he's nothing now. All right, we're going to go to our next one here. This one is from Scano on YouTube. Would you trade Daniel Jones and DJ Moore for Justin Fields and Rashee Rice? Currently, they have Bo Nix, Ted McMillan, and Nico Collins on their roster.
I kind of feel like that's a pretty lateral move. In both, like you're betting with this trade, you're betting that Jones is going to come down to earth and Fields is going to kind of see better days ahead, and obviously Rice is going to come back and be the guy there in Kansas City. Assuming this is a one quarterback league, I don't really think you need to make this deal.
I would.
Yeah, go for it. I don't really have strong feelings. It feels like a trade just a trade.
So I would do it for one reason, because I want to get Rashee Rice over David Moore. I think there's more value to Rashee Rice in fantasy, even if he doesn't play as great as some people are expecting. I still think I still would prefer to have him over Rashee Rice. And for me, Daniel Jones to Justin Fields, if it's one QB and you've got Bo Nix already, it's all kind of the same to me, because Daniel Jones is going to come back down to earth a little bit. At some point he has to, or I guess he doesn't have to, but one would assume that he will come back down to earth knowing who Daniel Jones is. So yeah, I'd make the deal if you really want to get Rashee Rice. I don't know that, but again, I don't know that you need to. I mean, you've got Tet, you've got Nico. So, all right, let's move on to the next one, Lou. We've got Papa Ratatouille over on Twitch. Is this a good trade? He wants to know. Well, we're here to tell you. Gave up Jamar Chase, Raheed Shaheed, and Harold Fannin or Kincaid, but get back Deebo Samuel, T. Higgins, Jake Ferguson, and Chuba Hubbard. Is this a good trade, Lou?
I don't mind it. If your team is shallow, given the Burrow injury and Browning starting, obviously that team is not, that offense in general is not immune to matchup anymore. I don't mind this. I think, Deebo's been a pretty steady contributor. You're still getting a piece of that Bengals offense with Higgins coming back. Ferguson is a target machine apparently now. I don't know what world we're living in. And you're getting a quality running back. Like Chuba's, he's not a RB1 at this point, but a good high-end RB2, kind of living in that where David Montgomery has lived the last couple of years, and that we're going to rank him as an RB2 every week, and he's going to kind of finish in that low RB1 kind of range.
Yep.
I dig it.
Yeah, I do too. My favorite part about it is honestly, it's getting Jake Ferguson and with CD Lamb out, because who knows what the timetable for that is. Jerry Jones just, what
a loon.
But what a loon. But now all of a sudden, Jake Ferguson went from being the third option in this offense to the second option in this offense for Dak Prescott. And as the third option, he was already seeing a lot of volume.
Yeah.
And it's just going to go up because he's already locked in there. So I'm all about this trade. I think it's a great deal for you. And don't forget, T. Higgins was more productive with Jake Browning than Jamar Chase was in 2023. So for whatever reason that was, I mean, that could be a thing that happens. But I would recommend moving Kincaid instead of Fannin if you can.
Yeah, I'm kind of, it depends on how you feel. I think Kincaid is really going to continue to be a central part of the Buffalo offense.
Sure.
And Fannin is like, I don't really love anything about a Cleveland passing offense.
I don't either, but I like Harold Fannin, especially with Njoku banged up right now. But I mean, either or, I suppose, is fine. But do this deal. It'll be good for you.
Yes.
Yeah. Like Josh Fuster of Front Yard Fantasy used to say, trading makes fantasy fun. Miss those guys. All right, we've got another one here from Chris O'Connor on YouTube. Hey, he's got a question, Lou. He's got Josh Allen and Caleb Williams in a redraft 12-man, 1 QB PPR league. He'd like to trade Caleb and get something for him. Someone offered Judkins. Will Caleb's value go up from there? You're already not getting enough back. Caleb for Judkins, that's not enough for me. I need an and. I need a back end wide receiver 2 flex player to go along with that. Caleb's too damn good this year, Lou.
Yeah, it's funny. I was actually having almost this exact conversation with a buddy of mine earlier today, talking about Josh Allen and Caleb Williams. And it just comes down to, I would actually prefer to have Caleb Williams on my team over Josh Allen rest of the season. And it goes back to what I was talking about a little bit earlier, is that Buffalo, when they are up on a team, they run the ball. They've got a really soft schedule the rest of the season, starting this week in New Orleans. When they get up there, not only are they going to run the ball, but they love to bring in, Mitch Trubisky there in the fourth quarter to help finish out the games, is kind of that, victory cigar. Caleb Williams, I mean, that Chicago defense it's bad, y'all. It's real bad. They're not only are they under new management and everything like that, and they're still kind of finding their way. They're down a few key bodies, and they can't run the ball to save their life. They're going to have to throw the ball a lot all year to stay in games. So I get wanting to trade Caleb. I like Judkins. I like him a whole lot, and I think he's a great get back. If you can get an and with him, like Nate said, yeah, by all means. And I would say, see if you can flip that to Josh Allen, giving up Josh Allen. Maybe you can get even more back instead.
Oh, you should be able to get Judkins in 2, not just 1, if you're doing Allen. Yeah, and I love Judkins too. I'm higher on him than everybody else this week for some reason. I've got him at RB18. Consensus has him at 29, I believe, something like that. So, but bad offense, tons of volume for Judkins. So, yeah. All right, we've got this one from Real JD, Lou. He wants to know if he should start Dak Prescott versus the Packers or Geno Smith versus the injured Bears defense. I feel like you kind of answered that last question.
Yeah, and I mean, it's Green Bay's defense. They've got a sign up, abandon all hope, ye who enter. I mean, that's a real thing. Green Bay and Cleveland, you don't want to play your guys against those defenses if you can avoid it.
Do not.
You can avoid it. Play Geno.
Yep. Oh, 100% play Geno. Not even close for me. So we agree, play Geno over Dak here. We've got Joshua Rosen jumping in here. First time listening, watching your show. Well, first of all, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Make sure you like and subscribe. We got a lot more where this came from, buddy. We promise. My biggest fantasy question that I've been pondering is who to start in my 2 flex spots in a PPR dynasty league. We got to pick 2 out of this group of 3. Trevion Henderson, Matthew Golden, and Jordan Addison back from suspension this week.
First of all, love the name. Sorry how they treated you in Arizona there, Josh Rosen. Yeah, I'm going. I never trust guys week 1 back from a suspension or injury. That's just me. How you do that is kind of up to you, and I'm not going to argue you with it. So for me, it's a pretty easy Henderson and Golden. If you're going to bench one of the 2, I think it's Henderson, mostly because that Cowboys defense, as much as I was just talking about the Bears defense being bad, the Cowboys defense is leagues worse somehow. Thank you for taking Kyrie Elam off of Buffalo for something.
Yeah, I'm with you. I want to say Jordan Addison, because just like what we just talked about with Trevion Henderson. Yeah. First game back, I'm always nervous as well. So, yeah, I'm going to say Golden and Henderson as well on this one, Joshua. Thanks for tuning in. We've got Bryce Long from YouTube. I can accept it next week so I can have Josh Allen for this week, but would you trade Josh Allen and Ricky Pearsall for Jaden Daniels and I'm going to assume Derrick Henry, not Hunter Henry?
Right. I guess like the value says no to me.
Yep.
And if you need a running back, like have to have a running back, I understand why you would make this deal, and I'm okay enough with it. I do think you're losing value with it. Something's not working right in Washington this year, in addition to the Jaden Daniels injury. And it's got me a little skeptical. Ricky Pearsall's the real deal, man.
He is the real deal. Very much so. Yeah, I don't think I'd make that deal, man. I just don't think I'd do it. Yeah. I see you're a Ravens fan. Don't let that influence you to go after Derrick Henry. I like Derrick Henry, but look, you can see that he's losing a step, and I don't know what that means for rest of season, but it does make me a little nervous. We've got Tyler Sperry. He wants to know if he should start Romeo Doubs or Trey Tucker this week. In a vacuum, I'm going to say Doubs against Dallas.
Yeah, I think I actually lean Tucker, and it has nothing to do with his 40 points last week. He's been targeted 8 or more times each of the last 2 weeks. For whatever reason, Geno looks his way, and we've talked about, the Chicago defense not being anything special either. And the only thing with Dobbs is that it could very easily be Dontavian Wicks or Tucker Kraft or Matthew Golden getting those instead of Dobbs for, whatever ludicrous reason, because it's Green Bay and they hate us.
I mean, I think honestly, at the end of the day, Tyler, it's kind of either or. They're pretty much in the same tier right now. So either way, I mean, there's a wrong answer, but we don't know what it is because they're so close. So we've got Galaxy Pickers on YouTube, Lou, with a question. Who do you start between Jordan Addison, Xavier Worthy, Darnell Mooney, Bill, full PPR, nervous about Worthy being held back because of injury? If you're only starting one for your flex, I'm probably going to go Darnell Mooney. It's probably Mooney for me.
Yeah, I'm giving you a gold star on that one, Nate. That is the right answer. For whatever reason, Penix and that Atlanta offense, they really like Mooney. Like, he's out-targeted Drake London for some reason. Yeah. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it should continue, but I expect it to continue because that's just seems to be how the world they want to live in. I don't get it, but yeah, you got to go that route.
Yeah, and for all the Drake London managers that thought maybe you were going to get Kirk Cousins, it's not going to happen, guys.
Oh, no.
They're sticking with Michael Penix. We've got Caden on YouTube. He wants to know in a half PPR league, he needs to start one of these 3. We've got Cortland Sutton, Brian Thomas Jr., and Deebo Samuel. I think for me, Lou, it's Deebo.
I've got Sutton highest. I mean, the Troy Franklin thing, I think that Troy Franklin's week got people nervous, I think, about Sutton. And we saw last week things snapped right back to normal with them and everything like that. And Sutton was hyper targeted, hyper productive once again. I don't see any reason that won't continue this week. So yeah, I've got Sutton. I think Sutton and Debo are the clear two above BTJ, as much as that pains me to say. But Sutton is the one that stands out for me.
Again, this is one of those ones. I don't think there's a bad call here. They're about the same tier for me anyway. I just gut says Debo over Cortland Sutton, but I think Sutton has the higher ceiling. We got another one from Caden in half PPR, Breece Hall or Travis Etienne this week, Lou?
Let me see. Where do I have? I've got Breece Hall decently high. I've actually got him as a low end RB1 this week. Mostly because that Miami defense is woof. And Hall, he's going to see the ball all over the field. He couldn't find any space against Buffalo and that sort of thing, which, that's kind of expected to a certain extent because it's the Jets and Buffalo owns the Jets. Give me Hall. I don't hate ATN. I just have Hall significantly higher this week.
I have Hall significantly higher as well. I've got him at 10. So it's Breece Hall for me as well. One more from Caden. Bo Nix or Jordan Love this weekend?
I've got these two guys in the same tier. So for me, that's the go with your gut, flip a coin. If you feel strongly about one, your gut tells you one way. I don't have a problem with it, but I do have Jordan Love higher. It's that Cowboys defense, and I use the term defense loosely. Yikes.
Yeah, I've got Love slightly higher than Nix as well. We've got this one from Wavy on YouTube. Start Judkins or Chuba Hubbard? I am all in on Judkins this week. Volume for me.
Yeah, I've got them in the same tier. So it's that whole kind of, if your gut tells you one strongly. I do have Hubbard higher. If there is I will say, having kind of looked through things again throughout the course of discussions and whatnot, if there's a guy that's going to be moving up for me, it will be Judkins, but I don't see him leapfrogging Hubbard for me.
I've got them right next to each other. So again, this is one that's just a flat out toss-up for me. I want to throw this one up here. My homie Eric's in the chat. What is up, Mr. Romoff? Make sure you find him on all of the socials, guys, at FantasyNav on Twitter, at fantasynav.bsky.social on Blue Sky. Check him out and all of his work. His work's awesome. This dude is balling all the time, and I miss his face. I'll give you a call later, Eric. Cash Money's got a question for us. Do we like Davante Adams or Rome Odunze rest of season? He was offered a trade for one of them and Daniel Jones for Nico Collins. Would you take Nico over them? And if so, which one should he keep? He's also got Amon-Ra Brown as well. What are you doing here, Lou?
Yeah, I love this question, Cash Money. You're doing it the right way here. I have Odunze higher. I don't think Nate. I know you and I feel pretty much in lockstep about Odunze. I've got him as a top 5 wide receiver rest of the season. Is he 2? Is he 5? I don't know. It also doesn't matter to me because those are the guys I'm starting every week. I'm not thinking twice about it. That's just who they are. That is Odunze for me. If you can give Adams and Daniel Jones for Nico Collins, I love that. Being able to roll out Amon-Ra, Odunze, and Nico Collins as a three wide receiver tandem every week. Holy cow, that's the stuff that fantasy championships are made of.
Yes, very much so. And I like Davante Adams a lot rest of season. I like him in the system. I think he's a perfect fit for an offense that just wants to throw the ball for the most part, but I still have Odunze way higher. He's not an offense with Puka Nacua. He is Puka Nacua in the Bears offense. So, 100% make that deal, but hold Odunze. We've got this one from the Smitty. Rattler or Browning this week because Jaden Daniels didn't put on weight in the offseason.
Not enough cheeseburgers.
Dude, you don't have to twist my arm to eat a damn cheeseburger. Right. Which one are you? I'm leaning Spencer Rattler over Jake Browning this week.
Who are they playing? Against Denver? Yeah, against Denver. I'm going with Rattler. He'll give you a little rushing, which, and again, Buffalo tends to kind of call off. I don't want to say call off the dogs, but like they definitely will ease up a bit late in the game once they're up by 20, 30, 40 points. I don't think it'll be that bad, but still, the point being, I go Rattler a little bit over Browning. That Denver matchup worries me for that Cincinnati offense again.
Yeah, I don't love it, but if that's your situation, it's going to be Rattler for me. I think Browning's going to get better. He just needs a couple of weeks. His first 2 games last 2023 were rough as well, so he'll get better. Right now is not the time though. We've got Incognito TK over on YouTube. Wants to know, trade Lamar and Flowers for Kyler, MHJ, and Saquon. Oh, I don't like any of these players outside of Lamar and Saquon. And I wouldn't do the trade Lamar for Saquon straight up. But I do like the idea of getting rid of Zay Flowers. But I don't like replacing Kyler, replacing Lamar with Kyler. I can't sign up for this. I can't do it.
Yeah, and ultimately it's you're feeling bad about one position pre-trade, wide receiver Flowers, and you're feeling bad about 2 positions after the trade, quarterback with Kyler and wide receiver with MHJ. I'm with you, Nate. I can't do this. I don't think it's an unfair trade or anything like that. I don't want, those aren't the assets I want coming back for what I'm giving up. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, that's completely fair. Completely fair. We got this one, Attaboy. I know exactly what that's for. That's because he's been trying to talk me into Spencer Rattler for weeks. It's not working, This is just situational, and he wants to talk to me about all of the Saints value. We're going to have that phone call. I promise, buddy. It's been a hellish week. We've got Kanye Royce over on YouTube. Rest of season outlook. Who do you like better, Lou? Jordan Mason or Quinshon Judkins?
Man, I don't think you understand how excited I am for Quinshon Judkins. It feels so wrong to say about someone in this Cleveland offense. I drafted Nick Chubb as a rookie. I remember intimately how he performed throughout the year and his rookie season. And that's what I see coming for Quinshon Judkins. So if you can get in on Judkins now, and if you can buy him at any sort of discount whatsoever right now, holy cow, I am so excited for you if you can do that. I like Jordan Mason. I like Jordan Mason a whole lot. And I think Judkins is looking at low-end RB1 status as his floor rest of season.
Oh, 100%. I've got him at RB18 this week, which quite honestly is probably way too low. But I'm hedging my bets here with him.
I mean, right.
But here's the thing, though. I don't care about that. He had 18 carries for 94 yards and a touchdown last week against Green Bay.
And that's fair.
Green Bay arguably has a much better run defense than Detroit does. So here's why I don't care, because there's nothing else in this offense that's even remotely exciting outside of Quinshon Judkins and kind of Harold Fannin. But for fantasy, really, Judkins is the only one who is exciting. And again, let me remind you, 18 carries for 94 yards and a touchdown. And then against Baltimore in week 2, 10 carries for 61 yards. That's not shabby at all. That was on a 27% snap share. But he also had 3 catches. Now, for only 10 yards, but in PPR, those 3 points could matter on the weeks when he's getting them. And that could be a complete tier bump for him some weeks in those formats. So, long way to say, as much as I like Jordan Mason, I'm with Lou here. Quinshon Judkins is the man. It's just the situation could not be better for him. You don't have to like what's going on in Cleveland to like Judkins.
Yeah.
Right. We got Galaxy Pickers with another question here, Lou. He wants to know, do you trade CeeDee Lamb, Kenneth Walker, Xavier Worthy for Jackson Smith and Jigba, Jalen Warren, and Chris Godwin? Currently, full PPR, currently 2-0, 13-team league. What are you doing with this one?
13 teams. That's not one you hear like ever. That's cool, though.
Not ever.
I dig it. Oh boy, I think I do this. If you're a believer in Godwin coming back, I mean, if I can get a piece of that Tampa Bay offense, especially passing offense, I want it. I'm a little skeptical on if Godwin can come back. I've got Judkins on the brain. If Godwin can come back and hit the ground running coming off an injury the way that he is. And I think JSN and Jaylen Warren are enough to
I do it.
I really like that.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know how long CeeDee Lamb's going to be out. JSN's a wide receiver 1, right? Kenneth Walker's still sharing time with Charbonnet, even if it's not a ton. And I don't know how much I believe in Xavier Worthy, but I do believe in Godwin. And Jaylen Warren is just going to be a feature piece for that Pittsburgh offense, no matter what. You don't have to love it. You don't have to love Jaylen Warren. I do. But I think this is a good trade. We're going to move on to the next one here. We've got Chavy over on YouTube wants to know Fannin or Pitts this week.
If you're asking me to pick one, I'm going to say Pitts, and both are outside of tight end 1 range for me. Not by a whole lot, but
same with
they are.
Yep, I would take Pitts over Fannin this week, but not be happy that those are my choices at tight end. We've got Tyler, looks an awful lot like Jack Black over here on YouTube. He wants to know if he should trade Travis Etienne and DeAndre Swift for Omarion Hampton. PPR redraft. His other running backs are Monty and Javonte Williams. Hampton's in a similar situation to Judkins, where he's in an offense that does have volume, but there's no one else competing for that volume with him. So, yes, I would make this deal. I love it.
Come on, Vidal. No, but yeah, more serious, like the Najee Harris is, Spectre is gone now, and Najee Harris was going to take some volume off. What was so encouraging last week was that we saw Hampton get involved in the receiving game a bit with 6 catches. I mean, that keeps that floor nice and high in a PPR league. The fact that they know that they can go to him for that is a big deal. So, yeah, get out of Swift while you can. ATN's got some value right now. Maybe he keeps it throughout the rest of the season, but I don't see a way down the line that you regret this deal outside of like injury, which we can't predict.
Yep, exactly. We've got Lucius Vornius 44 on YouTube. Received a trade with an owner asking me to give up Judkins for Chase Brown. What do you think? Leagues half PPR. They're not even in this. They're not even in the same damn galaxy right now. Chase Brown, I don't care how much volume you give him. He's behind one of the worst lines in the league, and his efficiency is going to be crap the rest of the season. You want nothing to do with that. Versus Quinshon Judkins, who and I are standing for pretty hard. So there you go.
Yeah. Yep. Ultimately, it's like Nate said, maybe the Bengals figure out if they get use Chase Brown as a receiving running back and don't try to actually run the ball anymore. It'll go better. But I don't have any faith in that Cincinnati offense to do something like that. So, yeah.
Nope. Yep,
go Judkins. Keep Judkins. No.
Yeah, no. Just definitely no. Blue Crew's got a question for us, Lou. Should he trade Rome Odunze for James Cook in a full PPR league? Strong at wide receiver. He's got JSN, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and George Pickens, but he needs running back help badly. His running backs currently are Tony Pollard and Trevion Henderson. It's a double flex league. Should just keep his 4 wide receivers as they are. What do you think here?
I think if they will give you something else on top of Cook, yes, I'm okay with it. And I'm not moving off of Odunze, Nate. Like I was saying earlier, I've got Odunze as a top 5 wide receiver rest of the season. I'm not moving off of him unless someone makes me say yes. This is a decent offer, but it does not make me say yes. I don't have to say yes to this. Otherwise, I would be stupid. And that's where I'm at with Odunze to move off of him.
Yeah, I would need more than this. It's just not a deal I would make. It's not worth it to upgrade to James Cook. Your running backs are, I mean, it's not pretty, but I mean, could you move George Pickens and maybe another like bench piece? If you really feel like you need to get James Cook, try and do it without Rome Odunze, I think is what we're saying.
Yeah, and ultimately it doesn't really help your team. Like, yes, okay, you get to plug in James Cook and that feels better at running back, but then you still have to start one of these running backs you don't feel good at flex instead of Rome Odunze. So ultimately you haven't gained anything through this.
Right. Yep.
You know,
I agree. Yep. All right. Well, we agree. So we're going to move on to this question from Wavy. He wants to know if he should trade Chigakonkwo for Kyle Pitts. As low as I am on Kyle Pitts, I'm even lower on Okonkwo in this offense. I do that deal. You get marginally better at tight end, but you have a little bit higher ceiling at the position, in my opinion.
Yeah.
More.
I don't really have anything else to add there. It sums it up.
We've got the homie, Mr. Barely Fantasy. He is my Monday night co-host for the Waiver Wire show. So make sure you check us out. 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern for that one. He's pointing out here, Chase Brown wasn't even efficient against good run defenses when their offensive line was better last year. I was out on Chase Brown before the season even started, Lou. I had no interest in doing anything at all with Chase Brown. I don't have him rostered anywhere. I did not draft him. I moved him in Dynasty where I had him. Don't like him. So I'm with Evan on this one. We've got Kanye Royce with another one, Lou. What about Kenneth Walker or Jordan Mason? Concerned with how much volume I see from Charbonnet. I agree.
Not quite sure what the question is.
So he wants to know who we like better rest of season, is my assumption on this one. Kenneth Walker or Jordan Mason? I think I lost you there, Lou. I'll keep going on this one. For me, it's going to be probably Kenneth Walker. I'm not as worried about Jordan Mason as I think some people might be. Or I'm sorry, about Kenneth Walker, some people might be. I understand the volume from Charbonnet, but it doesn't concern me as much as I think it concerns other people. Plus, I just think Kenneth Walker is a good running back. So, and we got this comment from Evan. He says, but Lou, Swift is only going to get better from here to spite you. If that's what it's going to take to get him to be better, then I guess that's what it is here. Galaxy Pickers, we're going to get to your question and the last comment from Blue Crew here in just a moment, and then we are going to get you out of here to enjoy the rest of your Friday evening. We've got from Galaxy Pickers here. You guys are great. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Would you trade Kenneth Walker and Xavier Worthy for Quinshon Judkins and Michael Pittman? I absolutely would make this deal. I like Michael Pittman enough. I don't think he's not going to be a high-end fantasy asset the rest of this season, but he could be a back-end wide receiver 2, high-end wide receiver 3, but I want this deal strictly for Quinshon Judkins. We've been talking about him all show and how much we love this guy. So I would do just about anything to acquire him in fantasy right now. And it's a massive upgrade from Kenneth Walker. And I'm okay with dumping Worthy because he has been just so incredibly streaky. We've got this one coming in from Jason Ortiz. I traded Judy, who I never started, good for you, and Addison, who I never started as well, for Tony Pollard and Javonte Williams, Ladd McConkey, and Mike Evans. Did I win this trade or no? This is what I will say, Jason. I don't think we should be looking at trades and win or lost. If it was good for everybody and it made your roster better, I think you did fine. The other manager might not need Jerry Jeudy, wanted to unload some of these guys off of their bench, but as long as it's good for your roster, which based on the pieces you got back, I believe it was very good for your roster, everybody's a winner here. Start 2 for you, Jason. DJ Moore, Pittman, Waddle, Jalen Warren are my choices here. Of this group, I just can't buy into the Miami offense, so Waddle is out for me. DJ Moore is just seeing such a huge dip in volume from our boy Rome Odunze. I'm going to shift Michael Pittman with the stellar Daniel Jones performances right now and Jalen Warren. Then we got one more here from Jason. Start 2 out of this list of 3. Javonte Williams, DeAndre Swift, and Jacoby Myers. Jason, I'm going to go with Javonte Williams and Jacoby Myers here. We can leave DeAndre Swift on the bench. He's been underperforming all season. I just don't have a lot of trust in him and what he can do here. Lou, you're back. Woo!
Woo!
You're back. So do you have any thoughts on this one here? Starting 2 between Javonte Swift and Jacoby Myers.
You can't make me start Javonte against Green Bay. You can't make me, is how I look at it. I understand the desire because he's been good so far this year, and I love it. But they're also down Tyler Booker. They're mashing one of their mashing guards. Swift and Myers. I don't feel great about it, but I feel better about that than Javonte against that defense.
All right. I mean, yeah. I said Javonte just because I don't trust Swift. I don't trust the volume
Fair.
at all.
Fair.
But I understand wanting to bench Javonte against Green Bay. It's a much more difficult matchup. We've got a question here from Bonda18. Wants to know Odunze, AJ Brown, Cortland Sutton, Michael Pittman. Help me start which ones this week. I'm new this year on fantasy. Well, Bonda, we're going to need to know exactly what positions you are looking to start. This is a great list of players, but how many of them do you need to start? We're going to need to know that. Plus, if you could let us know format, that would be fantastic as well. So we'll look for that to come around here in the chat. Blue Crew wants to know, how do you feel about defending against your elite wide receiver, even with a top defense? I think it depends on the defense. And I think it depends on the offense as well. Elite defenses aren't always elite at everything, and they have weaknesses. I think a good example would be Denver's having problems covering the slot right now. We saw it against Indianapolis. We saw it last week against the Chargers. That's a weakness on their offense. So I have no problem firing a slot receiver up against Denver right now.
Yeah, and sometimes you'll see, as much as analysts will say, you don't want to go against Derek Stingley or Sauce Gardner, that sort of thing. Some of these DBs, they only stick on one half of the field. They don't travel with a particular wide receiver. So they're not necessarily going to be on the top guy. When Dallas played Philadelphia week 1, for instance, Quinyon Mitchell was on George Pickens just because of how the alignments worked out. Now, they eventually figured out, as CeeDee Lamb was eating them alive, that maybe they should have their best corner cover that guy instead of Pickens. But so it really, like Nate said, it depends. And if you're talking about the elite wide receivers, your Lamb, Lambs, Amon-Ra St. Brown,
Jamar Chase,
Rome Odunze at this point, I don't care who that defender is. I'm starting that elite wide receiver and sleeping well at night.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Justin Jefferson's in that category for me too when he has a better quarterback. Yep. Okay, we've got a follow-up here from Bond18. Need to start 2 in full PPR. Okay, so let's get back to this one here real quick. We got Rome Odunze, AJ Brown, Cortland Sutton, Michael Pittman. Obviously, Rome Odunze is a must-start for both of us in this group. So if we're starting 2, who's your other one? I'm kind of between Cortland Sutton and AJ Brown. Pittman's pretty much out for me in this grouping.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I've got the 2 in the same tier, which again, for me, that means it's kind of a toss-up gut feel between them. I do have AJ Brown ranked higher. I've got him as my wide receiver 7. I feel like, he's done the whole Simba and Lion King route. He's remembered who he is. The Eagles have remembered who he is. And I look to them to lean into that. So I think you've got some great players here. And this is between Odunze, Brown, and Sutton. I don't think you have a bad decision. Like, there's not a bad choice among them. So feel real good about that. And roll with Odunze and Brown.
Yep. I love it. Galaxy Pickers, how optimistic, Lou, are you about Ladd McConkey regaining his role in production from last year with Quentin Johnston and Keenan Allen playing so well? I'm getting a little worried. Are you worried?
Yes and no. I think we're seeing Justin Herbert ascend to that next level of quarterback tier. And he's just finally got guys he can trust to actually catch the ball. And part of that is you throw to the open wide receiver. Defenses are keying on Ladd so hard. They know who he was last year, and they have determined the first 3 weeks of the year, we're going to take him away. We are going to have 2 sets of eyes on him at all times. That's how you see Quentin Johnston running just like through a gazelle through the African safari. He's so wide open down the field for these Herbert missiles. You've got Keenan Allen catching a bazillion touchdowns through 3 weeks because all this attention is being played to Ladd. Over the course of the season, I think we're going to see that normalized and spread out a bit as teams realize we can't just, this offense can still run even if we stop McConkey. So it's going to normalize, and it's not going to be what it was last year. There will be weeks when Ladd McConkey has 10, 15 targets and has that 95 plus 120 yards with a touchdown or two. He's going to have those weeks, and it's just not going to be every week. So is he going to be that guy that takes the next step that we would want? No. And I think he's going to be relatively okay. It's just not going to be as consistent.
Well, and you've got Keenan Allen, who's having some sort of career resurgence going back to the Chargers, but this is a 1-year thing. In Dynasty, long-term, I ain't worried about Ladd at all. He's an elite option. Yeah. And they had no one else to throw to last year. Quentin Johnston was still dropping the ball like crazy, and he's still fairly rough as a route runner. They polished that in the offseason. He got another year under his belt, and now they've got, like you said, 3 guys they can go to. Defenses will stop hyper-focusing on Ladd. But no, he's not going to be what he was last year. You're 100% right, Lou. Here's our last one, folks, and we are going to get out of here and let you get on with your weekend. This is kind of like the last one, but the reverse a little bit here. How do you feel about starting your top defense against your own elite wide receiver?
I mean, I prefer to stream defenses as it is, so I'm trying to dodge elite players as much as I can. And, hello, Titans, and hello, Saints, as much as I can. So I really don't like targeting elite wide receivers if I can avoid it. I understand sometimes it is unavoidable. It's basically, I look at my defensive starts as if I can minimize the number of ways in which that things can go wrong. So if all you've got is an elite wide receiver, like I do think of Chris Olave that way, I'm fine with targeting that because there's nothing else there that I'm actually worried about. As opposed to someone like the Cowboys where, okay, maybe they're not great, but they've got one elite wide receiver in CeeDee Lamb, another very good wide receiver in George Pickens, and good enough options at tight end and running back. I don't want to target that off them with a defense if I can avoid it.
Yep. No, I agree. And I'm a streamer too. I mean, you get into this industry and people shame you into it, and then you actually kind of start to realize, like, this is not a bad idea here. Well, folks, on that, we are going to get out of here and let you enjoy the rest of your Friday. Couple things I want to remind you about that we got going on over here at Optimus Fantasy. The first one's going to be our Discord channel, guys. We've got it all over there. We've got the link here on this graphic, but you can also find it in our show description underneath here. Waiver wire advice, dynasty discussions, best NFL bets, DFS advice, start sit, or just general conversation. We have got it all over on our Discord channel, so please make sure to check it out. It is free. And this weekend, if you're feeling frisky, head over to tools.optimusfantasy.com. Again, link is in the show description here. Unlock your fantasy advantage with 35% off your first 3 months of any one of our packages. Promo code BIPOCALYPSE. And here's the kicker, guys. If you sign up with the Gold Jacket package, you will get access to any new tool that is launched during the 2025 season. Make sure you head on over to tools.optimusfantasy.com, check that out, and get ready for the Bipocalypse, because it is about to get weird with some of these bye weeks. And we know that there's going to be a couple weeks where people are going to be missing a lot of elite players. So head on over, promo code Bipocalypse, get signed up. Lou, it's been a pleasure. We've helped a lot of people out today. Our favorite thing to do. We want to thank everyone who tuned in. Thank you for the questions. If you're listening to the audio version of this, obviously you weren't able to ask questions, but make sure you head over to Discord. And thank you so much for giving us your Friday evening. We hope we helped you out. Come find us next week. We'll be back. For Lou Brunson, I'm Nate Polvogt. We'll see y'all next week.